Okay, so let's take a look at this update for my edge group add-on that I created for Blender. This is version 1.1, and in this version, I've cleaned up the UI, so this is a little bit easier to understand how to use. And I've added a couple features for adding selected edges to a group and then removing selected edges as well, so you can change the contents of an edge group. So to actually install the add-on, you just go to Edit, Preferences, then you hit Install, and once you download the zip file, which you can get from my Gumroad link below, you'll find that zip file when you press Install, and then you can just hit the checkbox. Once you hit the checkbox here, that's going to enable the add-on, and then in the modeling or 3D viewport, you can press the N key, and you'll see edge groups here on the side. So I've got this piece that I've modeled for a subdivision workflow. Let me just actually turn off the subdivision for now. I'll shade this flat. So you can see it's pretty much poly-modeled, all with quads here, and we're using an array modifier rotating around an empty to get this kind of screw or rotation modifier. So what I probably want to do here is we're going to turn on subdivision. We're going to shade auto smooth. And what I want to do is I want to kind of sharpen up these edges. It's kind of looking like a blob right now, but really I want it to have more of a defined structure. So the first thing we can do is we can take these edges up here, create new edge group. I'll just call this top, and we will add a crease to this. So I'll turn off bevel weights. We'll set the edge weight to 1, and we can hit set edge values. So because I've checked apply edge weight first, we don't need to apply the edge weight as a separate step. We can just hit set edge values here. So there we go. We get a nice sharp edge there. So that looks pretty good. Down below, we may want to sharpen up these edges as well. Let me turn on X right here. But I'm going to have this as a separate group because I might want to play with the crease value to see what it looks like. So I've got this lower group now, and we can kind of test to make sure that group actually has the right thing selected. So if I click away and then press select edges in group, you'll see I've got that lower group selected. With the lower group selected here in the edge group, I can set the weight, and we're going to set the crease. Now, there is a little bit of pinching happening in this model. So I might actually want to reduce that edge weight and see what that looks like. Now that looks better. I think there's less pinching, but obviously it's creating sort of a lip there. And what we can do to kind of get around this is to actually create a bevel on top of the subd to kind of smooth out that edge. What I will say is that if you add a bevel on top of a subd, you're basically going to double your topology. So you need to be mindful of that. This is not necessarily something you'd want to do for an optimized model, but it's something you can do. Okay, so if we look at these top edges here, and kind of a cool way to do this is I can select the top and then make sure clear selection first is not on, so then these selections will compound. And we select the groups in the bottom, so I've got these selected, and I can create a new edge group from those two groups. So I'll call this bevel. And I also actually want to add some more edges to this bevel. So let's go ahead and select edges. So we see these are the edges that are currently there. If I take these edges here and press add selected edges, this is a new feature, then we will get this entire selection now as a part of this edge group. If I want to remove an edge, that's also pretty easy from the group. So if I select these edges, I can hit remove selected edges. And then when I select the edges in the group, you can see those are no longer there. I'm going to bring those back though, because I do want these in the group. So we're going to select the edges in the group, and now I want to apply a bevel. So I have a bevel modifier here. It's on my weight, my bevel weight. So all I have to do on this bevel now is switch this to weight, bevel weight, sorry, and set the edge weight to 1, and then hit set edge values. So that actually looks really good. So we're kind of getting a nice smooth bevel around all those areas. And we kind of have this surface that definitely looks harder, but it has that kind of little bit of softness to the outside of it. And you can mess with the segments as well. So that's going to also be a way to control the hardness of that edge. Okay, just to run through the rest of the features, let's look at maybe another few edges. We'll create a group here to show we're going to do mark sharp. I'll just call this sharp. It's not going to have a very pronounced effect because of the sub D, but let's go ahead and toggle these sharp. So if I toggle sharp, those become sharp. If I turn off the sub D, I think we're going to see this a lot better. And maybe not too much. But you can see that edge is kind of sharpened up there. Um, so and let's actually add some more to this. So let's go ahead and add selected edges, and then we're going to clear the edge marks, and let's go ahead and toggle. The purpose of the toggle really was to allow you to switch it on and off quickly to see what that looks like. So you can quickly see how that sharp is impacting the shading. Okay, and then also we can do mark seams as well. So let's create a new edge group and call this seams. And we'll switch this to seam and toggle edge marks. So same concept, you can toggle those on and off. All right, so another thing I really like to do is add an edge group for the whole selection, for the whole mesh. So if you select everything and then press new edge group, I usually just leave it as the default name. What this allows me to do is kind of quickly clear out all of the settings that I've done so far. So if I want to kind of go back and start from scratch, it's really easy to do that. Set the edge weight to 0. We're going to check bevel and crease. So we set edge values. We're going to clear all the edge marks so everything is perfectly clear on the model. And what we can do is we can quickly get back to where we were just by going through the edge groups that we've created. So if we set the edge weight to 1 on top, we're going to apply a crease there. So that was our first crease. Our lower crease, I think we did an edge weight of maybe 0.5. So that's our lower crease. We'll get the bevel set, the weight of 1. So that's our bevel. Sharp, we can toggle the sharps. Seams, we can toggle the seams. So that very quickly gets us back to, that workflow. Okay, that's all I had for this update. Thank you for watching, and I hope this was helpful for you, and I hope you can use the add-on.